A lot of people say that video is the king of content, that it's the best type of media to produce if you want to build trust with a lot of people and earn that sweet, sweet money for your business. But is that always true? What if I'm just assuming that because I'm biased toward video? After all, I am a video agency owner. Well, today that's what we're going to talk about. I interviewed 5 different experts in 5 different areas of marketing to find out if there are any underrated opportunities that supersede video as a marketing play. But wait, hold up. First, let's set some rules. You can't just go and say that LinkedIn ads are better than video or vice versa without first determining that you're setting the same budget for all the things. So that's what I'm doing. I'm setting a $900 a month budget for all these categories before I interview any of these experts. That is the premise for this discussion. What can $900 a month buy you in visibility? The first place I started was LinkedIn ads. I talked to my good buddy, AJ Wilcox. He's got 12,000 followers on LinkedIn and he's a LinkedIn ads expert. And I thought he was a perfect guy to talk about when it comes to LinkedIn ads. AJ, thanks for being my expert on call here. What can $900 buy you for LinkedIn ads?
Well, if you would have asked me about what $900 could buy you in LinkedIn ads 2 years ago, I would have said, oh, just don't worry about it. But then LinkedIn launched thought leader ads. These are so much more engaging because what it's doing is it's boosting one of your personal posts as opposed to a company post. And we as humans, when we see something personal come across our newsfeed, a human face, we pause a little bit longer and we wonder, like, do I know this person? Should I know them? What are they talking about? So we see these ads, they're getting like 2 to 5 times the level of engagement. And because on an ad platform, when you're getting higher engagement, your costs come down. You are asking if $900 can get you anything with LinkedIn ads. Yeah. I mean, we can at least show these thought leader video ads because they are so inexpensive at reaching exactly the right people.
One observation I have is that could go easily missed is if you wanted to do this, you really need to have something worth sharing in the first place, right? The content, so to speak. To make these thought leadership ads work, you can't promote something that isn't there in the first place.
Yes. Social ads are very much pouring fuel on an existing fire. And I've had this happen with clients before where they have content that is not worth paying attention to. And when we run ads to it, it feels like pulling teeth trying to get LinkedIn to even show the ads, let alone to get people to click on it. That's why I tell people to start out with like one of these 30 to 40 second videos where you're just giving a tip. You're not talking about your product. You're just giving them pure value and backing away and saying, hope you enjoyed it. That gets them a lot more primed and ready with the law of reciprocity. So that the next time they see something from you, they go, oh, I like this girl. I like this guy. And they're much more willing to pay attention for longer.
You can't just run an ad and be good with it. It needs to be part of a funnel or a system for building trust over time.
We build 3-stage funnels for clients who are looking to get demo sales calls. And we've given the same ask at all 3 stages of the funnel. And on several occasions now, we've had this statistically significant result, which is at stage 3, meaning the third touch someone's had with your brand, your conversion rate is 5 times higher than it is at stage 2. And your conversion rate at stage 2 is 5 times higher than it would have been at stage 1. It really only takes 3 stages of a funnel to get someone to where they would be willing to hop on a call with a sales rep.
So is $900 worth it for LinkedIn ads? Well, if you have the right system and the right person like AJ setting up your ads, probably, but you're going to have to combine it with some other kind of media, some other kind of effort and a funnel to make it work. So LinkedIn ads don't work in a vacuum. What about ghostwriting? Is ghostwriting a good play for $900 a month? That's where I talked to my buddy, Ben Wise. And Ben Wise is pretty wise. I love that he has that last name. And he had some interesting things to say about that. When I was DMing him about this video, he's like, man, it's just not going to work. He wasn't very excited about doing this because the reality is you can't really buy a good ghostwriter for less than a few $1,000s a month.
So my first answer is nothing. $900 these days is just not a lot of money. If you're truly trying to work with some kind of subject matter expert, someone like me is not going to write your content for you or anything like that. I think that for $900 a month, you can buy access to someone's brain by paying for their time. And then you get guidance, right? So you get someone who's been there, who can shorten your path, who can reduce the delta between where you are and the visibility that you want by saying, hey, First, let's understand your goals. Then let's come up with some kind of plan of what you should be doing. Maybe it's a combination of commenting and of creating content, and they can help guide you. They can save you from some of the pitfall and shorten the path and help you get to where you're going faster.
Yeah, obviously you're not going to be able to hire a good ghostwriter for $900 a month, but Ben makes a good point. You can get access to their brain and speed up the process at which you start getting results from your content.
Another idea, take those $900 and hire someone to help you save time. Maybe you can get a part-time virtual assistant for $900 a month, and maybe they save you 2 hours a week. And then maybe you take those 2 hours a week, you create content, you comment on people's posts, you study, then becoming a better copywriter. If you're a better writer, you're going to get better results.
So visibility, it doesn't always come from outsourcing. It can come from ownership. By taking on the content writing yourself, you can actually get just as much visibility as a good writer if you free up yourself by taking that money and investing it in systems and people to free up your time and help you get better at the subject matter expertise delivery yourself. Podcasting's been around for like 20 years. I remember being in college in 2005 and listening to podcasts while I was going to my part-time job at Menards. I love podcasting. It's one of my favorite ways to learn things because you can be busy with your hands and still learn stuff as you go. So I spoke with my buddy Ryan Sullivan. He's got a big following on LinkedIn. He's in my network. So we had a quick conversation about podcasting. Let's see what he had to say about my question. Ryan, what can $900 a month buy me? And if it's nothing, that's fine.
So I would use that money, number one, to invest in strategy first. You're going to create a podcast strategy where the audience will eventually buy from you. So if that's the case, then you need to design it like that.
What is, in your opinion, the biggest mistake you're seeing people make with their podcasts in the B2B space?
They're making stuff up. So they're just making things up. Like, I don't make things up. I literally just post what we're doing, what we've done before, what our clients are doing. If you look at any post that normally falls into those three categories, are we going to have our top of funnel post where I talk about my life story and all that? Yeah, sure. But the main issue in B2B marketing right now is that a lot of companies don't do really great work, so they don't post about it. If your work that you were doing was that good, then you would post about it. So if you're not posting about the work you're doing, then I start assuming that it's not that good.
I think that's where a lot of people get wrong with their content in general, is that they're just posting random stuff versus actually telling stories of the work that was done. So is $900 worth it to hire the right people for a podcast? Well, you need to have the right strategy in place. You need to make sure that you have an idea for what it's going to actually accomplish for you, and so that you get the right kind of visibility versus just a handful of views on a podcast that goes nowhere. All right, so the next one we're diving into is actually event sponsorships. And you might think, well, Justin, why is that one of the top? Well, we're talking about the B2B space here. And I don't know about you, but a huge part of how business happens these days is at those in-person events. And if you're not at the in-person event, you ain't gonna get the sale. At least it's always been that way. It's starting to change. And that's what we talked about with Erin Trowbridge. Erin is a marketer. I've known her most of my adult career. She lives in the Chippewa Valley with me here in Wisconsin. Not only is she a fantastic marketer, she's a fantastic human being. So I asked her about event sponsorships because I know she's been part of this for many of her clients over the years. Let's say your budget's $900 a month and you just decide to do event sponsorships. You're a B2B, 10, 50 people on your team.
For a B2B company, if they want to sponsor a trade show, you're looking at $5, $10, $20, $50,000.
If you're doing $900 a month in a year, that's $10,800. So you could be a sponsor. What could they expect from just being a sponsor in your experience?
A lot of times sponsors will get premium speaking opportunities to the group. And sometimes they get like premier booth location. They maybe get like additional advertising or communication opportunities before or after the conference. They might get access to a database to reach out to people involved in that particular event.
As a marketing consultant and somebody's looking at, an event like this versus alternatives for the same budget per year, what would you advise somebody?
I'm in favor of targeted events like that if the organization has the operations to follow up on like it's generated from an event like that, or they can have personal conversations with people that they met. We talk about like a small to mid-sized manufacturing company. Generally, they're pretty sales heavy. So they have a team of people who are wanting to make connections. So I think in that environment, that makes sense. Now, if you're an organization that doesn't have that capacity, or you don't have that, like, how are we going to continue to talk to these people after we spent $10,000 on this sponsorship? You don't want to just leave it, and just say, well, that was fun. If you don't have that kind of follow up, I think, other options might make more sense.
So $900 in visibility for event sponsorships is definitely doable, but you have to make sure the right buyers are in the room. You have to make sure you have a system for connecting with buyers before the event with marketing stuff, during the event with marketing stuff, and after the event with good follow-ups like emails and giveaways and things like that. Otherwise, it's just a very expensive logo placement. So my last interview was with Robert Smitty Smith, and this guy's a character. I really enjoyed my conversation with him because he has a very down-to-earth attitude to PR. Fun fact, it took me months of talking to different people in PR and getting turned down 2 or 3 times, I believe, before I was able to find Robert and then talk with him about PR in general. So he's got a kind of a unique spin on PR, what you can get for $900 a month. This is what he has to say about it.
Let's say you're spending 5, 10, even 20,000 a month. You're with a firm, you're not getting anywhere, and you get disgruntled. You say, I'm going to go try this other firm. And it's always the same, and you're just going around in circles. So for example, Cowboy Ryan Eman, I saw him on Shark Tank 2013, I think. And he did a deal with Damon John. And what I found out from talking to the Cowboy is when he did the deal with Damon, Damon insisted on him hiring Damon's PR agency, and he was feeding $6,000 a month into it. And after 6 months, the only result he got was a 2-paragraph blurb in a penny saver in Loveland, Colorado, which I think I could negotiate it down to like $50. He spent $36,000 for that. And he said, I don't know what to do. I'm going nowhere with my PR. I made a couple of phone calls. I called him the very next morning. I got him booked to come with me on the CW network. And we talked about weight loss and fitness. And we had an audience of like 1.5 million on that one snippet. It was amazing. And I didn't charge him anything for it. And just to show him that, this is how it can be done. If they can't get you results in a month, what good are they? Why should you have to wait 6 months or a year and continue feeding it and paying, $5,000, $10,000 a month, even $900 a month when they're not getting results? So what we do with our $997 plan, we immediately push it out, get every TV network. We get the logos, like everyone else does. You put it on your website. Now you've got trust, credibility, authority. People know that you matter and your advice matters. And we've seen closing rates go up on average over the last 2 years that we studied it. 3 years now, we're in the 3rd year. 51% across the board, every single client all the way down the line.
So like I said, Robert's got a different take on PR. Probably not going to find this very much in folks, but it sounds pretty straightforward. Now, granted, I haven't worked with Robert. I can't attest to his results, but the point is clear. You can get quite a bit of decent visibility for $900 a month as an entrepreneur. Now, I wouldn't go to any other PR pro and assume you can spend anywhere close to $900 and get any kind of results. But if you can at least just get like logos on your website, that can go a long way towards cementing your authority in your field. So are all types of visibility, the ones we covered in this video, equal? Well, I don't think they are. I think it really just depends on your play. I think the biggest takeaway for me was realizing that none of these things work in a silo. You need to have a good story to do PR. You need to have video to do ads. You need to have people on your team willing to follow a decent process to do event sponsorships in order to get results. And that's what I see with our clients all the time. Our plans start at $900 a month for short form video production. And our clients who do the best are the ones who are also doing webinars and they're doing outreach on LinkedIn and they're doing offline things. And the ones who do the worst are the ones who just do video. And they think that's going to carry them across the finish line and get the sales they want. We don't live in a world where one tactic wins. We live in a world where you have to make the tactics work together in order to get them to see that you're the cat's meow, that you're worth spending money with. Is there anything I missed? Anything I should follow up on? Let me know in the comments below.